Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open Dale Carnegie's masterpiece on human connection. In just the next few minutes, we're going to pull out the absolute core principles that can totally change how you interact with, well, pretty much everyone. And you can start today.
You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. You're trying to get a point across, maybe build a relationship, or lead your team, and it just feels like you're talking to a brick wall. It's this incredibly common frustration, and it's the exact problem this book was created to solve.
Now, Dale Carnegie wasn't some stuffy academic. This was a guy who grew up on a farm so far out in the middle of nowhere, he didn't even see a streetcar till he was 12. He built this system not from theory, but from years and years of intense trial and error, just figuring out what actually works with real people in the real world.
Okay, so here's Carnegie's most radical and honestly most important idea. If you want other people to change how they act around you, you can't start with them. You have to start with you. The real work, the hard work, it begins with your own mindset. This one shift is the foundation for everything else.
So, principle number 1 directly attacks our go-to habit, criticism. Think about it. When something goes wrong, our first instinct is to blame someone, to point the finger. But Carnegie says this is the worst thing you can do. It might make you feel better for a second, but it does absolutely nothing to fix the problem. In fact, it makes things worse.
To really get why criticism is such a failure, just look at this crazy example. Two Gun Crowley. This guy was a known cop killer. But while he was literally cornered in a shootout with police, bleeding out, he writes a letter saying he has a weary but a kind heart. He genuinely saw himself as the good guy, as a victim.
It took 150 police officers to finally capture him. I mean, just think about that gap in perception. The entire world saw a dangerous criminal, but in his own mind, he was the one who had been wronged.
And here's the big takeaway from that. If a violent murderer doesn't blame himself for anything, what chance do you think you have criticizing a coworker for a late report? All criticism does is put people on the defensive. It hurts their pride and it forces them to justify what they did instead of changing it. It just builds resentment.
You know, even Abraham Lincoln had to learn this lesson. Early in his career, he publicly mocked a politician and was challenged to a duel, which he almost died in. He never forgot that. Years later, as president, he wrote this absolutely furious letter to a general who'd made a huge mistake, but he never sent it. He had learned that just blasting someone with criticism accomplishes nothing.
So the second huge mindset shift is this. You have to get the other person excited about what you want them to do. Carnegie loved fishing, and he also loved strawberries and cream. But, when he went fishing, he didn't put his favorite dessert on the hook. He used what the fish wanted, worms. It's the same with people. You have to stop talking about what you want and start talking about what they want.
All right, so once you've made that internal shift, you're not criticizing and you're thinking about their interests, how do you actually put that into practice? Well, it's not about some complex psychological theory. It's about a few incredibly simple things that have an absolutely massive impact.
The first action might be the single most powerful and underrated skill in all of human relations, just becoming a good listener. Seriously, most of us are so busy waiting for our turn to talk, thinking about what we're going to say next, that we don't actually hear a word the other person is saying.
Carnegie tells this amazing story where he met a famous botanist at a party. For hours, he just listened, completely captivated, asking questions and barely saying anything himself. Later, the botanist told the host that Carnegie was one of the most interesting people he'd ever talked to. The lesson there is just profound. If you want to be interesting, be interested. Okay, the next tool is so simple it's almost silly, but almost none of us use it enough. A person's name. I mean, think about it. Our name is our identity. When someone uses it, it's like a little signal that says, I see you. You're an individual. It makes us feel recognized. And this is not some small-time trick. This is a major league strategy. A guy named Jim Farley helped get Franklin Roosevelt elected president by being able to call 50,000 people by their first name. And when Andrew Carnegie wanted to merge with a rival, George Pullman, you know what he did? He named the new company the Pullman Palace Car Company. That simple act of respect sealed the deal. Finally, let's talk about something that we all have, but very few of us actually use. The great steel tycoon Charles Schwab once said that his was worth $1 million a year. $1 million! His $1 million asset was his smile. A genuine smile says, hey, I like you. I'm happy to see you. It costs nothing, but it creates this incredible positive energy before you even say a word. It just instantly breaks down walls and makes any conversation go smoother. It is the universal sign of goodwill.
So when you look at all these techniques, really listening, using names, smiling, you see they all come from that one core idea we started with. They're not just polite little tricks, they're the natural result of genuinely shifting your focus onto the other person.
So let's make this real. Don't try to memorize the whole book. Just try this little experiment for the next 24 hours. You can pick one or try all three. See what happens. The way people react might actually blow your mind. And that's the real magic of Carnegie's work. It's not about making these huge, difficult life changes. It's about the incredible ripple effect of small, consistent, positive actions. So the final question is, what part of your world, what one meeting or one conversation, could you totally transform just by trying one of these simple ideas?